What a great event we've had today, Mike. Thank you very much. Appreciate all of the participation from across the country today. And I'd like to encourage you to join us after the event on our social media properties to continue the conversation. But first, I think we should start by saying this is just a little bit different than what we did last year. What do you think about that?
Absolutely. You think about what we did last year. We were at this great venue in Washington, D.C. called the Anthem, had over 700 participants live and many more who tuned in virtually. But this year, we had to go completely virtual. And I think it's a testament to the resilience of this industry and the importance of this event for the industry every single year.
So Mike, we've gotten a variety of questions from across the country and around the globe, and I'm going to try my best to summarize them here in rapid fire form. So the first question is, how does API and the industry plan to work with the incoming Biden administration?
You know, we are really looking forward to working with this new administration, and we actually think that there are a number of places where we can find common ground. One key example is on the issue of methane regulation. We believe that there is an opportunity for us to come together with the new administration and talk about what the right way is to regulate methane. As you know, we've done a great job over the course of the last few years through a program sponsored by API called the Environmental Partnership. And this is a program that actually brings producers together and talks about the best ways to reduce methane in our operations. So that's one example of something that the industry has done on its own. But we do think that there's room for regulation in this space, and we look forward to working with the Biden administration. Another area where we think that we could find common ground is on the issue of trade. We have more energy in the United States than we can use. We want to export that energy across the world because the other parts of the world should benefit from American environmental progress in particular. That progress has been really fueled by natural gas and the abundance of natural gas that exists within the United States itself. So we think those two areas are places where we can find common ground. We know that there are going to be areas where we're going to disagree. And when those areas come, we will oppose. And we will do everything we can to fight for the oil and gas industry across the United States. Areas like access to federal lands, access to our federal waters, places that have provided the energy security that America needs to be successful from a national security perspective and from an affordability perspective for American consumers. So I think the bottom line for us is we're going to work with the Biden administration when we can, but we will oppose them when we must.
Yeah, Mike, great points. And I think one of the things that our industry does so well, really focusing in on engineering and optimization, is really figuring out how we work together to solve big problems. And I have great confidence that this industry stands ready to do that with the incoming administration.
Absolutely, Amanda. In fact, you know, the mission of the American Petroleum Institute begins with we are the problem solvers, solving the greatest energy challenges of the world. And that's the same focus that we're going to bring to this new administration.
Well, speaking of great challenges that we face, we have a variety of questions that have come in around the topic of climate change. Do you want to talk a little bit about how we're thinking about climate change?
Absolutely. We know that climate change is real, and we know that humans contribute to a change in climate. And we've taken this issue seriously for many, many years. In fact, the United States is actually leading the world in reducing emissions, mainly because of that fuel switch from coal to natural gas. And we want to make sure that we can continue that progress that we have made. We also know that the world is going to continue to consume oil and natural gas. In fact, the International Energy Agency suggests that even if all of the goals of the Paris Climate Accords are met, the world's still going to use a lot of oil and gas. In fact, according to them, they suggest that 50% of our energy needs are going to be filled by oil and gas in the year 2040, even if the Paris Climate Accord goals are met. So we're still going to be using these products for many, many years to come. The question really is, where are we going to get those products? Where are we going to get that oil and gas that is going to be required by the world? We think that the best place to get it is in the United States, in a country that has very stringent environmental rules, in a country that our producers meet these environmental challenges head on every single day. So energy leadership is part of what we strive for every single year at API. And part of that is addressing the most important issue of our time, which is addressing the issue of climate change. As I said, emissions continue to go down, and I also mentioned that we have this program at API that focuses on reducing methane emissions in our operations, the Environmental Partnership. We're excited to announce this year that that program is actually expanding. So we're going to be expanding that program to include flaring, which we know is an issue and we need to get a handle on very quickly.
That's great. Well, as my dad always told me, it's better to be part of the solution than to be part of the problem, Mike. So look forward to that. The final set of questions really relate to diversity, equity, and inclusion. I know something that's very important to the both of us. Do you want to talk about how API and the industry broadly are thinking about DE&I issues, particularly as we look forward to the workforce, not only of today, but the workforce of the future?
I think all of us were heartbroken in 2020 when some of the racial protests were occurring as a consequence of some of the unfortunate actions that occurred in that terrible year. And I think it was a real wake-up call for us at API and of course within the industry that we needed to do more to address these issues of diversity, equity, and inclusion. As an organization, we came together and really started talking about what we could do to improve performance in this area for the industry. One of the things we know based on an API study is that 50% of our workforce of the future is going to be supplied by women and minorities. And we need to make sure that those women and minorities within our industry have a path to grow within the oil and gas industry. And that means providing mentors, that means providing leadership so that they can continue to grow and continue to succeed within the oil and gas industry writ large. So we have a couple of different programs at API that are focused on this, making sure that both suppliers to the oil and gas industry are diverse, and also making sure that we're providing the resources that women and minorities need to continue to succeed in oil and gas. We're excited about these programs. We think there's a lot more to do, and we're excited to be part of the vanguard and leading the world in trying to make sure that these populations are well served.
Sometimes people say that working in the natural gas and oil industry is really a pathway to the middle class. You know, maybe talk about a little bit what your views are on that.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, a lot of our workforce are members of unions. We really work hard to work with union members and to work with local affiliates of these unions to supply this workforce. These are great jobs that provide a pathway to the middle class, working on pipelines and working in America's refineries that make the cleanest fuel in the world. We want to make sure that people have that pathway to the middle class. Those are opportunities that this industry provides, and we want to make sure that our workforce looks like America. So we do it through unions, we do it through our member companies, and we're focused like a laser on making sure that we can solve these issues, not just within API, but in society as a whole.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that we've talked about and focused on as an organization and as an industry is that we can do better. And I think we will make sure that we continue to drive the debate and the dialogue and make sure that we are in fact reflecting America, not only in our workforce, but in the values that we present.
You know, we also have so many great partners in this space. Dr. Benjamin Chavis was with us today, who's been a civil rights leader for so long, and he's provided us a lot of guidance in this space as well. And the partnerships that we've built with the Congressional Hispanic Caucus and the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation have been instrumental in how we've thought and grown on these issues as well.
That's great. Well, Mike, I think we're running out of time for today. This has been an extraordinary first venture in our virtual State of American Energy. Thanks to all of you who have joined us all across the country. This has been a wonderful opportunity. Thank you so much, and have a great day.